The Puck Portfolio with Andy MacNeil.
Hey, welcome to the Puck Portfolio. My name is Andy MacNeil. I'm your host. I'm here on weekdays to provide NHL projections, betting advice, and strategies to help you make informed bets throughout the NHL season. Big slate on Saturday. I'll admit I've had a tough time finding value. I think I've handicapped the games pretty well here, like I do always on this show. Unfortunately, Thursday wasn't a very good night. Lost an overtime decision to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Had a bet on the Flyers. Small bet. Did not work out. Big bet on the Oilers. Woof. Terrible performance from the Edmonton Oilers. Kind of felt a little suspicious about that one. Closing line value a little bit too excessive there. I thought the Oilers stopped being a good bet at around minus 175 or minus 180, but the market pushed them all the way up into the minus 200s. The St. Louis Blues at one point were as high as plus 198, so at that point I would have, recommended a bet on the Blues, but unfortunately got baited by that minus 164 that we got on the Edmonton Oilers. Did not work out, so we're moving on to Saturday, hoping to get some of that back, and I don't know if it's the best day for that because I'm just not seeing a whole lot of value. I've got two bets that I like, and I'm not excited about either one, especially not the money line bet that I have because it is a bigger favorite. And yeah, I mean, not a great start here to the weekend. A pretty lousy weekend, all things considered. I mean, we've got no NFL for the first time in how many months? The NBA All-Star Weekend, and the NHL is just serving us up one game on Friday. And yeah, making us wait until Saturday to get down on some hockey action. And really, the slate isn't all that attractive from a betting perspective, at least not right now. Of course, we don't have a lot of derivatives to go into, player props and things like that. But just looking at the money line, the puck line, and the total, like I said, I've only found two bets that I like right now. So let's start with the Kings and the Bruins. The Bruins are losers of three straight, 4 of their last 5. The model says LA should be a plus 125 underdog. So if sportsbooks get to plus 135, I'll back the Kings to beat the Bruins on Saturday in the first game of the day. But I'm not so sure it'll get there. So I guess we'll wait and see. I do like a play here in the Edmonton Oilers and the Dallas Stars game, though. It's not on the Oilers. It's not on the Stars. My model sees this as a tightly contested game, a virtual coin flip, but it doesn't expect this one to be a low-scoring affair. Actually, the Oilers and Stars are expected to go over 6.5 goals, at least according to my model, approximately 61% of the time. So big edge on the total. I'm going to lay minus 130 over 6.5 to win 1 unit. Dallas, they've been filling the net lately. We all know how capable Edmonton is on offense. Not to mention, these two teams have combined for 7 or more goals in 5 out of the last 6 meetings dating back to the start of the 2022-23 season. So there is something here. These two teams, the fireworks get going when they meet up. So I'm on the over 6.5 at minus 130. The Ottawa Senators and the Chicago Blackhawks. So both Jake Sanderson and Artem Zub were full participants in practice on Friday. So it looks like both players could return on Saturday. Sanderson actually says he's expecting to play on Saturday, says he feels good to go. My model shows value on the Senators, but look, the fact is, if you're betting the Senators as big favorites, you're losing money because they just haven't come through in this spot side. Another example of that on Thursday when they got shelled by the Anaheim Ducks, who were just after getting shelled themselves by the Montreal Canadiens. But the value here is too good to pass up, in my opinion. Minus 167 at NorthStar Bets. This show is sponsored by NorthStar Bets, good old Canadian sportsbook. You can check them out via the link in the description below. But yeah, I'm backing the Sens here to beat this Chicago Blackhawks team at minus 167 on the money line to win 1 unit. I was hoping I would see some value on the puck line at around plus 145-ish, but that's actually where my model says it should be. So fair price there, no value. Look, Connor Bedard, he's back, of course. The Blackhawks, they should still be a plus 195 underdog in this spot, according to my model. I mean, the Senators, they've been grading out as one of the best teams in the league. And in terms of expected goals and shot attempt percentage, yeah, the goal share isn't where you would like it to be. But Chicago, they are the worst team in the NHL right now by most metrics. They've got just a sub 30% goal share over the last month. And of course, Bedard is back, but if you really dive into it, he hasn't had that big of an impact on this team this season. But don't get me wrong, great to have him back, but he can't carry the Chicago Blackhawks all by himself. So I'm on the Sens at minus 167 to win a unit. I'm on the Oilers and Stars to go over 6.5 goals at minus 130 to win a unit. And that's probably going to be it right now for Saturday. We've got the Detroit Red Wings at Calgary Flames. I think Alex Lyon might be gassed. Ville Husso is hurt. And James Reimer hasn't played since January 23rd. So Detroit, they're really struggling. And arbitrarily, I think the Flames should be a bigger favorite than my model suggests. But hey, going to stick with the model here. It has served me pretty well all season long, and if Reimer is in goal, then the Flames will be a slightly bigger favorite than they are now, according to the model. But expecting Lyon for now, but I am worried that he might be gassed, especially after that last contest. I think there's a little too much love out there for the Buffalo Sabres, but this is nothing new. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen was slated to start for the Sabres against the Panthers on Thursday, but he was ruled out due to a lower body injury. He did practice with the team on Friday morning, though, and is on track to start on Saturday versus the Wild. So since this news hit social media, I saw the Sabres move slightly from plus 140 down to plus 135 at NorthStar Bets. Other sportsbooks, though, like DraftKings, opened up at plus 120 on the side of the Sabres, with the Wild closer to a minus 140 number. I don't think there's any value in backing Buffalo here at the current odds. The Sabres, they've been playing over their heads. I'd want, plus 145 or better to feel like I'm making a good bet on this Sabres team. They, their goal share is very much in line with Minnesota's goal share, although the Wild's is stronger. Buffalo has a better shot share. But, expected goals, the Wild and Sabres are kind of on opposite ends of the spectrum. So I would definitely side with the team that has, the stronger underlying metrics to go along with their strong goal share. Minnesota has been doing pretty well on offense lately, and the Sabres have been, they've been winning thanks to the goaltending of Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen in a lot of ways. So I'd be a little bit hesitant to back the Sabres there. Not interested in the Wild at that price, but I don't think the value is there on Buffalo. Florida and Tampa Bay. Tampa gets another win over the Colorado Avalanche this time on Thursday. Of course, the Florida Panthers shut out the Buffalo Sabres. This is going to be Florida's third game in 4 days. Sergei Bobrovsky will be rested, though. He got last night off. And I don't think there's any value backing the Cats here. There was at the earlier odds, minus 114 at NorthStar Bets, but that one moved really quick. The Panthers deserve to be a favorite, minus 118 according to the model, so never really all that much value. I think the Lightning have looked pretty decent as of late. I think there will be, maybe some people that disagree with that, but look, they've looked all right as of late, and I wouldn't necessarily be looking past this team by any means. I think you look at how the Panthers played against the Sabres on Thursday. They did give up a lot, so maybe the door is open there for the Lightning to pull off an upset, but I wouldn't be interested in backing the home team unless their odds are a lot bigger. The Anaheim Ducks are in Toronto taking on the Maple Leafs. John Gibson played 2 full periods on Thursday in their game against the Senators, but he did not play in the third period due to an apparent injury. No word on whether he'll be good to go Saturday versus Toronto, so that's something to watch there. Could be Lucas Dostal in goal. The Anaheim Ducks are very bad. They should get blown out by the Maple Leafs, but we know that the Maple Leafs do have a penchant for playing down to weaker teams, and I certainly wouldn't be laying any kind of big price with Toronto. Montreal, they're a team that I could get behind backing the Canadians, but the early odds, they've got the Washington Capitals around minus 115 and the Canadians around minus 105. Washington, they've lost 8 of their last 9 games. Montreal actually beat Washington 5-2 back on February 6th. First game out of the All-Star break. My model says this one's a 50-50 split, and therefore I would bet the Canadians at plus 110 if that becomes available, but right now it's not, so can't really do anything about that. The Flyers, they are taking on the Devils in the first game of the NHL Stadium Series at MetLife Stadium, and there is some, injury concerns on the side of the Flyers because forward Tyson Foerster missed Thursday's game versus Toronto. Now captain Sean Couturier and defenseman Cam York are both considered day-to-day after suffering injuries. The projection that you see on the screen, that is if all three players are back in the Flyers lineup. So naturally, you could imagine that the Devils will be a bigger favorite if they aren't, but I'm not willing to chance it here and make a bet on whether that's going to happen or not. The Winnipeg Jets and the Vancouver Canucks. The Canucks are the favorite here, but the odds suggest that these two teams are basically neck and neck. But, if not for home ice advantage, this game would be a lot closer. My model says the Canucks should be a minus 122 favorite. All right, switching gears before we wrap this thing up, I want to bring up my projected 2023-24 NHL standings and Stanley Cup playoff chances. The Vancouver Canucks sitting atop the league, just as they are in real life, projected to finish with 116 points, roughly on average. A 47% chance of winning the President's Trophy. Vancouver, almost twice as good of a chance as the Florida Panthers, who are sitting at 25% chance of finishing with the most points. Speaking of the Florida Panthers, though, they were plus 225 to win the Atlantic Division about a month and a half, 2 months ago. We talked about it a lot on this show. The Boston Bruins, they've got one of the toughest remaining schedules, the second toughest remaining schedule in the NHL currently. Florida Panthers closer to the middle of the pack. They should have a better second half than the Boston Bruins. Frankly, they're a better team than the Boston Bruins. So really didn't understand why that price was where it was. Well, the Florida Panthers have caught up. They're tied at 74 points with the Boston Bruins. They're actually sitting in first place because they own the tiebreaker currently. And they've got a 62% chance of winning the Atlantic Division according to the model. So plus 225, looking great right now. The Florida Panthers currently minus 112 to win the Atlantic Division at NorthStar Bets. So great line value there. Hopefully you got down on that one because I really haven't been a big believer in this Boston Bruins team. They're my team, but I don't see it. I don't know how they've been doing it, but they have been. But it looks like the wheels are starting to fall off for the Boston Bruins, and the Atlantic Division looks like Florida's to lose at this point. But that pretty much does it for today's episode of the Puck Portfolio. Drop a like on the video if you have not already. Subscribe to the Canada Sports Betting YouTube channel. Good luck this weekend with your bets. I'll be back on Monday because we've got hockey all day, so hopefully we'll find some value bets, and I will see you then. Until then, take care.